Hello dudes, welcome back to another Blade and Soul PvP review after Awakening. This one we are going to be doing a Warlock. Warlock is probably it's probably, if not the second worst class. I think it's tied between Warlock and Gunner at this point. So let's just look at the skills that we're going to be using. We're pretty much only going to be using these skills. Sometimes Singularity depending on who we fight, but it's usually going to be these skills because they're all OP. So, first of all, Quick and Dragon Call. The reason that we're using this and just that over these is even though that these might seem better, the lower Dragon Call chance and the instant Dragon Call shooting instead of having to do your little animation to summon the dragon and then shoot it is so critical in fast-paced gameplay that it doesn't seem viable at first, but when you actually get into higher tier PvP matches, you'll finally start to understand that those couple of milliseconds actually count for everything. So we're going to be using Step in Time because you get the movement speed buff on Leech, which is I believe 35% movement speed buff for 8 seconds, I think. Let me look. Increases movement speed by 35% during Siphon, so 12 seconds of 35% movement speed buff. That is insane, dude. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, that movement speed is, like, very critical in, like, stalling for skills. That's why we're using that. We don't use teleportation because I believe the CDs are too long and it gets rid of one of our Thrall CCs, and the iframe is not really reliable. We don't use Speed Demon because you're not always going to hit Bombard and it's pretty useless. So we rather just do this, where Leech is a parry and defense piercing skill that will guarantee you to get the movement speed for 12 seconds if you land it without them iframing it. The reason we're using Restoration Field is because Green Sanctum OP, no need to say anymore. We're using Distortion Barrier because when you get hit in Distortion Barrier, or when you're in an AoE and you're using Distortion Barrier, you get cooldown deductions on your skills, and you heal HP per iframe that you do in Distortion Barrier up to 5 times, I think. So you get like a 25% HP recovery if you get hit 5 times, which is the max. And then you also get like 15 seconds of cooldown reduction. Like, how is that not OP? That's great to use. The reason we're not using Time Gyre is because it doesn't really give you everything that Distortion Barrier does, which is kind of lame. The reason that we might use Singularity is because it's a low cooldown stun skill that stuns people multiple times, I believe, on the second hit. And it's very easy to hit. So it's like, and it happens like instantly. So you can use it as like a trap underneath yourself when somebody, or like you can use it as like a trap inside of like an anti-ranged defensive skill like Petal Storm or like Divine Veil or something like that. It's great because you can like stun them for a long time in it, and it does a pretty decent amount of damage. And then you can use like obviously your Dimensional Prison and all that kind of stuff, and then do even more damage and pretty much force them to tab and force them to like exit their range protection skills and all that kind of stuff. So it's, like I said, it's very, very reliable for classes like Force Master, Summoner, sometimes Sin, not spin classes, maybe, no, I was going to say maybe BM. It's like half and half on BM, and yeah, pretty much never on spins though. And then the last three is the same skills that we've had before the Awakening patch. The first one is Soul Burn, the second one is Time Distortion, the third one is Obliterate. Obliterate just, I believe, stuns the person. It pulls them in for 4 seconds or something like that, or 3 or 4 seconds, and then hits them with like a 10,000 damage crit, and then that's it. And it apparently gets like an aerial damage buff, but you can't even aerial people anymore, so it's pretty pointless. Soul Burn just gives you a lot more focus and focus regen, and gives you like the demon outfit with the wings and all that kind of stuff, and gives you more crit damage and crit rate and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, if you're willing to use that and like PvE against like a spin class or something, then be my guest. But the reason we're using Time Distort is because Time Distortion is pretty broken. It is probably, and I think always will be, the most broken skill in the game, even though it's on a pretty dead class, because it can reset skills cooldowns 3 times in one go. And the CD is like a minute or something like that. Or like a minute and 30 seconds. I think it's a minute and 30 seconds. But it's still like really nice. Yeah, 1 minute and 30 seconds. And it goes up to 50 meters for the first reset, and then the next 2 are within like 5 meters or 8 meters or something like that. And it's really nice. It's really nice, like I said, because of like how detrimental it is to have like a lot of your skills back in very key moments to like CC and whatnot. So anyways, I'm going to shut my mouth about the class now. I'm just going to hop in and just play a game or two. I'm already 7 minutes in, and all I've done so far was explain what the class does. And I forgot to mention, we only used Frost build. We're not using Shadow build because Shadow is not reliable anymore. So we're just using Ice build. And it's pretty much just spamming skills at this point. So we're fighting Summoner. The reason that I want to keep Dimensional Barrier, or Distortion Barrier, is because for Summoner, even though Singularity might be a pretty good skill to use for them, I would prefer to be able to use my Quell, which is my block, my 1 skill, and use my 1 skill, or my, yeah, it's my 1 skill, but it's my Q and then 1, but it's the block and then Dimensional Barrier inside of when they use like Grasping Roots, or like, yeah, like something like this. And see, now I'm back to full health. And it resets my Distortion Barrier. Get my heals real quick. Not sure how he just, I think I framed, but it's whatever. I'm gonna use Singularity now, And becomes stunned for 3 seconds on 2 hits. Yeah, we're gonna see how this works out. Keep in mind what I said. This is tied for the weakest class in the game. So anything that I do is pretty much out of my control. Anything that happens to me is completely out of my control. Just stop. Yeah, he just stopped playing. He might have DC'd. But look at the damage that this is hitting, by the way. 6k, 5k, 7.5k, 2k, 2k, 1.4k, 1.8k, 1.5k, 1.9k, 5.3k, 1.5k, 3.8k, and it just keeps going and going and going. And it's just insane, dude. The damage on this class is like... This class is like Gunner. That's why I said they're pretty much tied. Their survivability is pretty bad, and their CCs are pretty bad, but like their damage is just insane. What is this? Are you not? Okay, I thought he wasn't gonna fight for a second. I was like, what? Oh, yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's really, really hard to play against any class as this class, because you just have no CCs, nothing reliable. Tether is now able to be reacted to. You have 2 CCs pretty much, and one of them is like a free stun, but it's tabbable, and then the other one is a reactable skill, so it's pretty... It's like it's a pretty one-sided fight, like almost no matter who you fight. But we'll see, because I want to do one more game before I cut the video off. And yes, I am. The reason I'm looking down so much is because I'm playing 3 games at once. Sorry, this is my daily life. When I get home, I just play 3 games at once, unless if I go out with someone. Okay, so we're gonna change back to Distortion Barrier. I got a Metro token. Hey. Nice. Might want to use that before my premium runs up. 15 days, plenty of time. So let's see what we can do against this guy. We have no piercing skills really, so... Hit me. Yeah, there's one. He hit me once. I got 1 skill 3 seconds flat. 3 whole seconds of CD reduction. Just what I needed. Wow, I'm getting all level 50s now. I can't even fight anybody in arena. Sad, boys. Sad. So we're 1-0. Behind the back, CC. Okay, that doesn't always work. So he's just spamming skills on my thrall. So I'm just gonna spam skills on him right back. And easy peasy. He didn't really know how to play Warden, but if he did, he would have beat me because that class can still beat a lot of classes. But that is going to be it for me. I want to thank y'all for watching. I still have a couple of classes that I need to do, and I think it is Destroyer, Summoner, Warden, and that's it. And then I'll try to find other classes that I can use. But in the meantime, I want to thank you all for watching. Stay cool until next video. Stay patient.